Tier 4 Warrior. Lucy, Tank Junior, Biker, Patriot, Anarchy.
Lucy. My juicy Lucy. She started as a prison guard. During a massive riot, she went all in trying to put the prisoners down. Permanently. A few of her fellow guards didn't survive either, under what the reports called mysterious circumstances. After things settled, someone decided she'd spent a little too much time acting like an inmate instead of a guard. So they threw her in. When the system collapsed again, Lucy didn't wait around. She grabbed her guns and walked out. She's confident in who she is and dare anyone to question it. There's only one thing that Lucy treasures more than the quad, and that's a rocket launcher. She goes to extreme lengths to get her hand on the rocket launcher and is usually in the vicinity of where one appears on a given level. This one's seriously messed up. The spawn of a human tank commander and an Iron Maiden from Strogos, Tank Jr. is a sadistic, biomechanical nightmare. Like, how is this even supposed to work? Like Alexander, son of Philip of Macedonia, Tank Jr. sees himself as a rightful heir to a blood-stained legacy, one forged by his father, a fearsome warlord crushed during the Strogos Wars. Built for battle, raised on conquest, he exists with a singular goal: to finish what his father started and crush anything in his path. He is still young in his own brutal way, but already consumed by hatred. He doesn't understand diplomacy, he doesn't want to. Tank Jr. sees the universe as a battlefield, and anyone not kneeling before him is an enemy to be flattened. The only language he speaks is destruction. In combat, he's relentless. He'll chase a target with no regard for his own safety. If there's a rocket launcher in the arena, he's going for it. And if there's a quad, nothing else matters. He's fully mechanical, more machine than angel, and when he tries to speak, it's just garbled, broken static layered with rage. I love this first description. If Biker ever had any charm, he beat it out of himself a long time ago. That's some real man shit. At some point, his boss told Biker and his gang to go fight the Strog. He didn't see the point. There was no cash in Strog hunting, so they ditched the fight and went back to what they knew best, riding hard and breaking knees. Biker isn't exactly bright, but he's got more than enough anger and muscle to make up for it. He's the type of guy who's most comfortable in a bar fight, swinging a sawed-off pool cue, and he's taken to the Arena Eternal like a hog to mud. Biker's presence hints at something bigger. With most of Earth's military shipped off to Strogos, who was left to keep the peace? It opens up the idea that gangs might have started filling the power vacuum, maybe even trying to overrun what was left of the government. A few other characters will add more pieces to that puzzle later. As for Biker himself, he's all about the plasma gun. It's always his first pick, and if you're looking for him, check the plasma spawn. Okay, while looking around for pictures, I saw this. How fucking awesome is that? Todd Wiesel was learning wood carving and was looking for something to work on, so he asked his friend, Bruce Atkinson, if he had anything he'd like to have carved. Since Bruce played Quake 3 and always used Biker, he picked him as the subject. And to top it off, Todd even won some ribbons for it in some competitions. Quake is awesome. Patriot is what you'd get if you mixed a cyber-enhanced soldier with a vampire and gave him a taste for arena combat. Sleek, fast, and deadly, his implants boost his already fearsome abilities, letting him drain psychic energy with even more efficiency. The old thirst still lingers, but now it's not blood he craves, it's victory. When cybernetic upgrades became the new obsession, the line between life and death got blurry. Patriot found that funny. He's been walking that line for years. Neither truly alive nor fully dead, he's an undead predator who's learned to hunt with style. The implants didn't change what he is. They just made him better at it. Stronger, faster, hungrier. In the Arena Eternal, Patriot favored the plasma gun and always keeps an eye out for the quad. If he can combine the two, expect trouble. He doesn't see his enemies as rivals, just future meals. And yet, There's something oddly charming about his attitude. He might be a bloodless killer, but he's got flair. Anarchy is one of the youngest fighters in the Arena Eternal, but that doesn't slow him down. He made his name as muscle for the Random Access Gang before diving deep into cybernetic upgrades. Over time, constant downloads of stolen memories and combat routines blurred the line between who he was and what he's become. Now, Anarchy doesn't see any difference between reality and the virtual world, because through his implants, there isn't one. His world looks like a digital fever dream, and that's exactly how he likes it. Quake Champions introduced an interesting connection between Anarchy and Slash. As Anarchy chased altered states like a drug, each dangerous procedure pulled him deeper into another reality. That's when he met her, Slash. She could see it too. Together, they became obsessed with reaching it, convinced it was real. And eventually, they did. They crossed into the Dreamland, a twisted realm where champions from the waking world are trapped and forced to fight without end. But yeah, the Dreamlands don't care about bonds. That place bends the mind, breaks what holds people together. Over time, it drove a wedge between them. Whatever they had, it couldn't survive there. At the highest difficulty, he's just the worst. He was the first opponent I wasn't able to beat on the first try. And okay, I got used to play games without HUD because I don't know, I really like the purity of having not your screen full of info and having a crosshair in your face. But here, I had to reactivate the HUD and crosshair. I was getting sniped without rest, and you also really have to use the railgun, and trying to aim without a crosshair is just really difficult. The guy says he'll do anything to get a shotgun, but in all the matches I played, he was almost always using a rocket launcher or the railgun. He's also obsessed with locking down the 2 power-ups that spawn in his arena. He doesn't respect much, not his enemies, not the arena, not the rule, and he really doesn't take losing well.
Tier 5, Veteran. Razor, Visor, Stripe, Keel, Uriel.
Alright, this is where sweat starts running down your skin, your hands shake, and your ass clenches every time you jump into combat. Up until Anarchy, I could beat each level on the first try, but here, I had to restart a couple of times. The boss move a lot more, shoot with way more precision, and force you to stay at your absolute best at all times. Here's another character tied to that overlooked timeline I wish they explored more. After the invasion of Strogos, Earth was a mess. The Terran Coalition's forces were stretched thin, trying to contain fires on every front. In some regions, it wasn't the military that held the line, it was whoever had the guts to stand up. That's where Razor comes in. In the chaos, local militias and even biker gangs took control of key zones to keep order. Razor and his crew, the Roto Riders, weren't sanctioned. They weren't official. But ask around the Pacific Northwest, and you'll find towns that still exist because of them. Razor never got medals. He didn't want any, he just kept moving, fighting, and holding the line where others couldn't. In the Arena Eternal, Razor is brutally aggressive, but not reckless. If an attack's going south, he'll bail and regroup. He's a sniper at heart, but if there's a BFG 10K on the field, you'd better believe he's going for it. Don't let the biker persona fool you. Razor's smarter than he looks, and whether he wins or loses, he never takes himself too seriously. None of the warrior clones in the Arena Eternal know the name of the first. In the rare moments when they aren't training or fighting, some whisper theories about Visor Prime. Or just Visor, as he's now known. Some say he was engineered from the dominant genes of history's greatest Terran warriors. Others believe he was one of those heroes, preserved, upgraded, and turned into something more. Visor knows the truth. He just doesn't talk. Built for war, bred for battle, Visor exists for one reason: to kill. And he's very, very good at it. He's aggressive, focused, and sometimes holds a grudge. But oddly enough, he shows a certain battlefield code. He'll often ignore enemies caught chatting. He favors the rocket launcher and the railgun, and when he's fighting, he doesn't waste words. Every comment is short, cold, and locked on the mission. When you grow up on the street, staying clear of gangs and pushers isn't easy. Stripe tried. The Marine gave him structure. Mercenary work gave him purpose. He fought in conflicts across continents, hardened by war and survival. But trouble still found him. He did hard time, not for something he did, but to protect his younger brother. The kid wouldn't have lasted a week inside. Unfortunately, it didn't help. His brother ended up in the ground anyway. When the truth came out, the authorities gave Stripe a choice: rot in prison or fight in the Arena Eternal. He chose to fight. This part can slip by quickly, but it might actually be one of the most horrifying implications about the Arena Eternal. Most characters end up in the arena by accident, or are pulled in through strange forces beyond their control. But Stripe? He was given a choice: stay in prison or go fight. And that choice came from the authority. Now think about what that means. Who is the authority? His government, military command, something even higher? The idea that world leaders, or someone above them, might already be under the influence of the Elder God is terrifying. In combat, Stripe's not reckless. He's dangerous, sure, but calculated. He values survival more than racking up frags. That's why he gravitates toward the BFG, the quad, and the battlesuit. Tools that let him clear the room fast or keep himself alive when things get ugly. He doesn't talk big, but when he speaks, you know he means business. Calm, confident, just trying to stay alive. Again. In the Subic system, thousands of mining colonists were slaughtered by the Klesk, a savage, indigenous chitinid race. The first to fall was Lance Corporal Ben Keel of the Terran Commonwealth Special Forces, killed on Subic 3 during the Spiker insurrection while attempting to take out a rebel artillery nest. 6 months later, Keel was born again. Rebuilt through alien bioengineering and Terran military tech, he's a cybronically enhanced weapon. Though he looks like a human head mounted on a powered armor frame, he's far more than a battle bot, and far less than a man. His programming is simple: fight, heal, survive. Mercy was never part of the code. While Keel will defend himself when needed, his default instinct is always the same: eliminate everything in front of him. In many ways, Keel is the opposite of Stripe. Where Stripe fights smart and values survival, Keel pushes forward with relentless aggression. He rarely breaks off once combat begins. The railgun is his weapon of choice, and he knows how to use it with deadly efficiency. He offers respect sparingly, if at all, and only to those who manage to slow him down.
Excellent.
Long before anything resembling a human ever set foot in the Arena Eternal, Uriel, the Dark Angel of Death, ruled it. Said to be a descendant of the Arena Masters themselves, Uriel's race once made entire worlds tremble. Clawed, winged, and wrapped in mystic force, their presence alone was enough to scatter lesser beings in fear. For ages, none but the Masters dared challenge him, and even they rarely tried. But time wears down even God of War. Uriel has grown tired of endless bloodshed, of constant conflict, of being the final wall that must always be broken. He longs for release, the kind that only defeat can bring. Yet, until someone worthy rises to claim his mantle, Uriel will fight on, and he will not fall easily. Uriel was said to have been prototyped for Quake Champion, with a vampiric active ability and a flight passive. The vampiric effect would have let him regain a percentage of health from the damage he dealt, while the flight passive would have used his wings still intact at that point. Jumping would make him flap them, and you could use that multiple times. Pretty cool, and kind of sad he never made it into the game. In battle, Uriel is cold and precise until someone provokes his fury. When that happens, he descends with pure rage, tearing through his enemy without hesitation. His weapons of choice are the lightning gun and plasma gun, but if a BFG appears, he won't pass it up. Uriel was the most stressful match I had in the entire game. Most of the time, I could keep the lead with a comfortable gap in the score. But here, not only did I have to restart the match multiple times, the last run I barely pulled off a win. Things started horribly, 7-2 for the asshole. Then I realized that charging straight at him and staying wide open wasn't the smartest move. Once I started actively hunting for armor and health, I managed to even the score at 7-7. From there, it went back and forth, with both of us killing ourselves a couple of times. Fuck! When it hit 9-8 for him, I thought I was done. Bam! I took the victory. What a match.
Tier 6. Master. Bones. Cadaver. Doom. Sorlag. Major.
Whenever I hear the name Bones, there's always this one video that instantly pops into my head.
The Quake series as a whole. So strap in as we dive into why Quake Champions failed.
It's because it didn't have Bones in it. From Quake 3, because he's blue.
Pure gold. Bones is one of the best examples of the Vadrigar's twisted power. He has no real life of his own. He wasn't reborn, resurrected, or reanimated. He was made. Even Orb, as weird as he is, reacts to the suffering around him. He doesn't. Reputedly crafted from the bones of a long-dead warrior, he's an artificial undead construct. Even more undead than Patriot. Even more lifeless than Cadaver. And yet, the burning question in the minds of anyone facing Bones is, where do the Jib come from? Bones is an excellent fighter with any weapon you hand him. He's pure combat instinct wrapped in bones and dust, and somehow, blood. Without question, the most evil creature in the Arena Eternal is Cadaver, a walking corpse still obsessed with the destruction he started in life. Before death, he was a mass murderer so vile that not even the courts could keep count of his victims. What is known is that during a prison break, Cadaver added 13 more to the pile, including 8 fellow inmates and 3 anti-death penalty protesters outside the gates. He never made it to the chair. The arena masters claimed him before the switch could flip. Now, he roamed the arena in his torn prison orange, bloated and rotting, with sagging guts spilling from his split belly. There's nothing good left in Cadaver, if there ever was anything to begin with. Oddly, for all his evil, Cadaver isn't especially vengeful or even aggressive. He doesn't seem to care about winning, losing, or surviving. He fights with a casual cruelty, favoring the rocket launcher to scatter his enemies into chunks that look a little too much like himself. His voice is as nasty as his body, wet, slurred, and rotting from the inside out. It's kind of funny to think his first name might actually be Doom. And last name? Oh, probably Guy. Maybe Doom was just a nickname his squad gave him. Maybe it is his real name, though I doubt his birth certificate says Doom Guy. Dominic, Dorian, Dante, or maybe something way less dramatic, Bernard, Melvin. Or if we go with him being a Blazkowicz, he's probably simply named Guy Blazkowicz. This version of Doom is a little different than you might expect. He's focused, sharp, maybe a little unstable, but definitely not stupid. Think less mad scientist, more educated welder with PTSD, he's a killer in the arena, no question. The last transmission Earth got from him on Mars was short.
They're all dead! Every last fragging one of them!
Everything after that,
You demon piece of shit!
just screaming. When the recovery team finally arrived, they found corpses everywhere. Researchers, soldiers, demons. But no Doom. The Arena Masters had already taken him. In the Arena Eternal, Doom plays a little off-type. Instead of charging headfirst like he's known for, he often camps and picks enemies off with the railgun. He's a deadly sniper, and if there's a quad or BFG on the map, you can bet he's already moving toward it. His speech is jumbled and strange, like he's stuck fighting a war no one else sees. but that doesn't stop him from winning it. Now, Doom was also playable in Revolution, and he even had some unused voice lines which I guess aren't exactly how I would have imagined his voice.
The ground makes an unfriendly pillow. Your mama slaps harder than that. I've been to hell once. Kinda felt like this. Doom.
Sorlag of the Sorg clan is the definition of ruthless. If selling her own mother would turn a profit, she'd do it piece by piece just to raise the price. Nothing is beneath her. Ambushes, betrayal, backroom deals, even carving up human savages to sell their remains to cyborgers, it's made her infamous and feared. She thrived in combat, with a special fondness for dismemberment. Her hiss-laced voice drips with hatred for anything that isn't her. Among the Sorg, her clan harvested more warm blood than any other. They feasted, stored the leftovers, and built a legacy on blood. Many credited the Haruspecs for that success, the one who opened gateways to the other place using still steaming gut. Haruspecs aren't explored in detail, but it can be gathered that they're a type of shaman or prophet connected to the Sorg clan, or possibly part of an outside faction that coexists with the Sorg. They seem to use parts of the Sorg's hunts to open portal to the Dreamlands. The reason for this isn't made clear, though it can be assumed they do it as an offering to the Elder Gods, perhaps in exchange for power, which would explain why the Haruspecs appear to be held in high regard by the Sorg. But Sorlag knew the truth. She was the real reason for their dominance, and she proved it. Determined to subvert the authority of the Haruspecs, Sorlag stole one of the Warm Blood's force field devices and made plan to topple his bowel bowl and interrupt his ritual. Morning came, the ritual began, and all saw the other place, a twisted world so unlike their own. Sorlag leapt with the device, but her claws had crossed the window. She watched the Haruspecs' sacred bowl fall as she was pulled into the other place. Now, she hunts in the Arena Eternal, and she's still hungry. Sorlag's main weapons of choice are the shotgun and the railgun. She happily uses either, but she prefers to kill with the shotgun up close and personal. Sorlag can often be seen fighting with Doom over any quad that appears on a given level. Her sibilant-filled speech is loaded with anger and hatred of anything but herself. Here's another one I don't get. Why wasn't she brought back in Quake 4 or anything? Major Artemis Wayland is a soldier carved out of the Strogos campaign, haunted by memories of her fallen unit and the parasites that tore them apart. Some say she never really left that war. Maybe she still thinks she's fighting it. She's all business, humorless, no nonsense, and completely allergic to bullshit. After taking heavy damage in battle, she refused cybernetic implants even as her comrade embraced augmentation. She chose to stay human. The cost? A body full of scars and an empty eye socket she doesn't bother to hide. She's still standing, still fighting. And she wants everything the Strogs took. Her honor, her people, and maybe a few thousand paybacks along the way. Major is one of the toughest opponents to face in a one-on-one match. Second only to Zero, and that's debatable. She's lethal with the rocket launcher and machine gun, and her railgun accuracy is well above average. Combine that with her agility and precision jumping, and she becomes a serious threat in any map. And she's not even augmented.
Final tier elite.
No one in the Arena Eternal is deadlier than Zero. A mutant built for slaughter, his entire existence revolves around death and destruction. After countless victories, he stands as the undisputed master of carnage, watching, waiting, and killing with impossible precision. Zero claims he can see into the mind of his opponents, and the worst part? He's probably right. He reads movement, predicts intent, and strikes before his enemies even realize they're exposed. He's never been beaten, and the record shows it. Brash? Yes. Overconfident? Not even slightly. Zero can do what he says and does over and over. He's the final tier for a reason. Okay, so The difference between Hurt Me Plenty and Hardcore is just out of this world stupid. I mean, he goes from random shooting to an aimbot cheating asshole. I don't even have time to look where he is. What the fuck? Zero's design was made for Quake Champion in his early days but never went further. He had multiple passives and one triggered ability. A wall-running passive, another that let him see when players were low on health, and his Scorpion Tail could perform a fatality on critically wounded targets. Basically, a Doom-style glory kill. Aggressive and vengeful, Zero doesn't take insult lightly. He'll break off to heal if he has to, but otherwise, he's relentless. He favors the railgun and the BFG, and if invisibility is on the map, he'll hunt it down without hesitation. He respects almost nothing. So if you ever get a word of praise from him, you earned it. Only the best ever face Zero, and only the true master survive.
Impressive.